Hello, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about wherever I want. Today, I think everything that I've been trying to say can be pretty succinctly put from the proper perspective of someone who used to live in North Korea, as this woman did, Yeon-mi Park. Her story here is freaking fascinating, and will explain why America has gone to and gone crazy. Oops, I swore already. Let's hear what she has to say.
You went to Columbia University. That's what you write about to some extent in your new book, While Time Remains. And what you describe when you achieve this dream, something similar happened to me in the 1980s at Yale, right? It's the dream of immigrants to go to a place like this. This is success. When you describe what you encountered, even your first week,
Your first day,
it sounds made up. It sounds like this is made up, but I know it's not made up. I know it's true. Talk about what you encountered at Columbia and elsewhere.
Where do I begin?
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, my classmates, perfectly lovely people, they're in their like Lululemon $100 like yoga pants, or they're like green juice detox. I mean, for me in North Korea, I ate plants to survive with my bunny. Now they eat like salad, too skinny. I was very offended in America. People do that, right? I did not know the problem in America is having too much food. And they were telling me they're oppressed at Columbia.
The women wearing the $100 Lululemon
It's
pants
like more expensive. My mom's
and the
like
$10
cost.
green drinks were saying they're oppressed.
Yeah. And I was asking them, why are you oppressed? So in Colombia, every class, before class, we have to introduce ourselves. Not about who you are, your name or your major. It's about first thing you have to do is your pronoun.
Your pronoun.
And
What year was this?
2016.
Holy cow.
But I learned English by watching Friends. In 2014, 2 years prior, in Friends, they don't have they as a pronoun. They don't have a Z, X, Y, none of that pronouns exist. So I go to Colombia and then I name they as he, as a biological male. And in tears, how I make them feel threatened.
Can you believe that? See, this is where a lot of the problem lies, and I won't interrupt much. But we have become such swaddled babies, like she said, wearing Lululemon, like expensive ass yoga pants, having their green matcha tea, juicing, decleansing thing, like detoxing thing every morning. And everyone just wants to feel special, I think, is the problem. I think the Me Too movement came out, and just like an unintended thing about it was that, excuse my voice, I am suffering from allergies very badly, but an unintentional thing that came from it was that people wanted to feel like they had trauma in their background, and a lot of us do, but you know, there's a balance between dealing with your trauma and still navigating through the world, you know, expecting to go through the hardships that anyone else does. And there's another difference between wearing that trauma like a flag every day and waving it in front of every person you see and expecting to get swaddled like a baby. Like if you don't know about North Korea, if you just know, oh, they've closed off to the world and there's a dictator or whatever, right? No, it's so much worse than that. I actually like to listen to stories about North Korea because I'm twisted like that. And it is so fucked up there. And it's crazy that this woman who comes from a place like that has more of a head on her shoulders than these. And again, if you watch like my other videos, it's not wrong to be trans. It's not wrong if you want to be someone else. It's wrong when you start putting your oppressions on someone else. The burden of your like of being like coddled on someone else. If you're putting that on the whole world, no one gives a fuck about you IRL. We do I thought the thing was we did like the civil thing, like the hi, how are you, and the niceties, right? Like it, but no one actually gives a fuck. You can't actually give a fuck about everyone, but you can give a fuck enough to give someone a safe space to be in. No one's arguing against that. No one's arguing against being whoever you want to be, but to make everything about you is just denying this huge part of the world where people are actually suffering. And she gets into that more. I've actually watched most of this clip. I haven't seen the full interview, but yeah, well, let's get back.
And then my professors were saying, who likes to read? I mean, give me examples. You need to be woke. And I thought like my English was not good. I thought I'm awake. I'm awake, right? Like, why is she saying I need to be woke? And she's like, let me give you an example of being woke. Like, who likes to read? Jane Austen. And I love reading. And Jane Austen, I learned.
Isn't it like crazy that this was 2016 in a New York university, the very like coveted University of Columbia. And back then they were talking about being woke. And look where they are now, less than 10 years later. New York is a shithole. This is where all of our whining and bitching is getting us.
So much about being a human through her book. So I like raised my hand. And she said, Jane Austen was like, living in an era of white colonialism and white supremacy. By reading her work, you convey the message that only white men are capable of reasonable thinking. And that's how you oppress minority people. And this is
by reading Jane Austen. You oppress people by reading Jane Austen.
I'm not going to pretend I've read a Jane Austen book, but I know a lot of people are mad about like old literature and stuff. Like one that's relevant to me is J.R.R. Tolkien and how there's always white people in his books. These are preservations of time in our books. You can't go back and criticize something that was written 50 plus years ago and make it relevant to today. Like, it just doesn't work. It is just a piece of art from that time. If there happens to be only white people in it, whatever. If there happens to be beating of women in it, that's how things were back then. That's just how it was. Like, there's still a preservation of art in it. I mean, this is why in the 20s or 30s we ditched that stupid movie rule where like back then movies like couldn't have anything in it. They had to like change Broadway shows, like A Streetcar Named Desire. They took out like the part where Stanley like hits one of the girls or whatever. But it's like, and like, yeah, that stuff is not great. No one likes physical abuse, but people don't seem to like look into stories. They don't seem to think, why is this happening in the story? What is this teaching people? Because it's not just teaching people to hit women. It's teaching them that people like this are bad or whatever. And maybe that's because I'm a gamer. And like every RPG I've played, there's like this like baseline racism in their world. And you see how evil it is and you see the bad effects of it. But a Karen just looks at a video game like that and they just go, oh, there's racism in here. Oh, they hate women in here. Get rid of it. No, there's a message behind it. Anyway, I'm going to let her continue.
And then we have a consent orientation everybody needs to take at Columbia when you begin the college. And as a rape survivor, you appreciate that they teach you how to get a consent from your sex partner. And then after these 2 long hours of lecture, they give us examples. So you and I going to Columbia together. You and I go out drink at the bar. Both of us had beer. We had to consensually agree to make love, and the next day wake up. I think it was under the influence I made a mistake. Now I can call that rape because I was under influence. But what about the guy? He also drank too. And I was thinking, this is an insult to rape survivors. This is not what rape is. They are
100%. You cannot consent under the influence and then just suddenly decide, oh, that was a mistake. I want to ghost this guy. I don't like him. I wish I didn't sleep with him. I'm going to call it rape. No, it's called regret. That's the problem, is like all these people are changing the meaning of words. You have people saying rape now for situations like this when it's not rape. You have people saying Nazi when they're not actually trying to like gentrify their entire society. And that's what I'm worried people would. That's why I wanted to clear up about North Korea too, because I'm sure once they start learning about North Korea, they're going to start like, dumbing down all of what they do over there as well. And just like arbitrarily applying it to what we do here and just not really understanding the difference. I mean, the ironic funny thing is that she's trying to say that America is now North Korean than ever. But they're still going to spin it on its head to fit their narrative, to aim it at people like us who are just trying to speak facts.
Redefining the word oppression. They're redefining the word rape and racism. And they say math is racist, it's made up. And I was thinking, this is what my teacher told me as younger in North Korea. She said, what's 1 + 1? And I said 2. My teacher said wrong. My dear leader, when he was a kid, discovered that if you add 1 drop of water to another drop of water, what does it become? Becomes bigger one. It does not become 2. That's how math is made up by white men to control the minorities. Colombia, they were saying the exact same thing.
That is so fucking stupid. Can you believe it? That professors are saying you need to be woke. 1 + 1 is still 1. What kind of like tadpole has infected everyone's brain? Oh my God, it's repulsive.
I mean, I'm amazed that already in 2016, in your freshman year, these things were being pushed so aggressively.
Yeah.
Because we know they're out there. But the idea that you have had your experience and you come to this place and they are shoving this down your throat, these ideas, very aggressively. I mean, it's amazing to me. How did you survive 4 years at Columbia?
It was last year, my senior seminar, I was studying economics and then human rights and political science. And then this is a human rights course, right? And they were telling me, I mean, they're redefining the word human rights again. You know, human rights means free healthcare, free education. I mean, you're so entitled to everything, so everything should be free for you. And I mean, the people who are actually fighting for human rights, it's a different thing. But she asked me, she's saying like, you know, there's no difference between men and women. And I said like, I can never be a man. Also by then I gave a birth, I was a mother. Like I know what my body can do and my guy's body cannot do. And she said, who told you that you cannot be a man? I said, I don't know. I said, okay, somebody brainwashed you. You are brainwashed. And they would just shut me down like that. So I learned, and then they said, Columbia is a safe space. It's not about physical safety, it's emotional safety. And before the classes, professors send these trigger warning emails. Don't come to class and don't do the reading. And if it triggers you in any way, don't even tell me why. So you don't need to go to class, you need to do the reading. Then why on earth are you in college?
This is crazy to hear about. And again, the fact that this was in 2016 when this shit was happening really says a lot about why our country is where we're at now. It's repulsive. There's still, again, yes, you can play woman, you can play man if you're the other, but biologically speaking, there should be some kind of like baseline understanding that like we have biological sex for a reason. There has to be an understanding for that. Otherwise, like, what are we doing? Like, you're just denying fact.
To get that fake degree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's our fake degree now.
It's extraordinary.
So they can match their fake menstrual pain. Everything's fake now. And it's so stupid to me. And I'm sorry, but like men cannot, if you do not have a fucking uterus, you cannot experience menstrual cramps. Like, oh my God. Anyway.
It's extraordinary. I mean, it's been bad for a long time, but it's obviously gotten so bad that to hear you say these things. So that's a main reason that you wrote the new book, While Time Remains, with a foreword by Jordan Peterson, because you're convinced that similar things that you experienced in this nation, a brainwashed cult in North Korea, have come here. Mm-hmm. And you're speaking about it.
Yeah, I think the reason I wrote my book was living through pandemic especially. Until then, my agent was protecting me, you know. Let's still try to reach out to liberals, you know. They were like, I'm sure they're gonna do something about China. I met Jeff Bezos. I flew in the same private jet with Harvey Weinstein right before the Me Too. And talking to these people, they say they care about Black Lives Matter. They care about the racism and they wanna end the slavery. I talk to them in person, they say, I'm sorry what you went through, but don't even tell people that you know me. They say that's how cowardly these American elites are. And then living through the pandemic, I was living in Chicago. My son, who was like 2, learning to walk even, they would put him in the mask up here 8 hours a day. They are opening a strip clubs next door. And then I go to a park, they open the dog parks. But as a child mother, I cannot take him to the playground. Like actually, animals have more rights during the pandemic than my son had, my child had. And now one day I got robbed in Chicago in the middle of the day.
This is, you have to tell this story.
Yeah, this story's
Because
nuts.
this is unbelievable. So you were briefly living in Chicago.
For 2 years, yeah.
You have your son with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was walking the Michigan Avenue in the afternoon. During the day, some few black women come, pushing me and punching me and took my wallet away. But that's okay. I mean, anybody. The people raped me were Asians. I mean, it's not about race thing here, right? Anybody can be anything. It's not a race. They just happen to be a black woman. It's fine. But what happened was that the crowd, what people did on the street that day, I pulled my phone out trying to call the police for help. I was a young mother being punched by these people in front of my son. These people circled me, on people on the street, saying the person color don't make them like a thief. You're racist. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you trying to call the cop? So
Why you were calling the cop on the women who did this?
punching me and taking my wallet away.
Apparently, if a black person beats you up and robs you and you call the cops for help, you're racist, because we should just let black people do whatever they want, because that's how much the color of your skin matters. And if the color of your skin matters, that's a racist notion. I will always stand by that fact. That is stupid. I don't care who you are. You rob someone, you're in the wrong. You're choosing. So like, and again, like the logic here is stupid. Like, so someone can choose to rob someone, but they're not at fault. They can choose to have sex while inebriated, and yet they're not. They're suddenly not responsible for their actions. Like, this shit doesn't line up.
Chicagoans came to you
Yeah.
and said, you are racist
You're
for
racist.
making this phone call.
And then they almost a circle, so I couldn't do anything, and then they let them run away from me. And that's when I was like, in something like the madness of crowd. It was not just Colombia gone crazy. This country collectively gone crazy now. I mean, like, even North Korea is not this is crazy. China even is not crazy. They're a bad, horrible regime, but common sense is still there. You help out the victim, not the criminal. It's like in North Korea, like how America works right now, is people divided based on their skin color. They call my son, who is a half North Korean, half American, he's half white, a privileged child because he's a half white. And because your skin color, and it's like, who chooses their ancestors? Like, you cannot punish people for something they did not choose. That's why racism is bad, right? You punish for something like skin color. And now we are doing that racism against white people. And they told me that I cannot possibly understand oppression because I'm a white passing person. So that is
A white passing.
A North Korean woman passes as white, therefore anyone can do anything they want to her. Everything's backward. Everything is ass backwards.
person.
so now they say Asians are whites. There's no difference between Asian and whites. And I completely eliminated from that topic. So I was thinking, like in North Korea, we were divided based on what our ancestors did. Like if my great-grandfather was a capitalist and landowner, they say your blood is tainted. Your genetics is oppressive. And now they say whites, being white, you're oppressive to other people. And exact same tactic, and the obsession on what we can say, what we cannot say, like North Korea.
I'd realized that I should have probably just turned on captions. My bad.
Same tactic, and the obsession on what we can say, what we cannot say, like North Korea. In North Korea, we get executed. In America, if you say the wrong thing, you lose your job, you lose your character and dignity. Your livelihood is ruined. So of course, we are not North Korea, but we are getting there. So at some point, we need to turn back.
Well, you continue to speak out, and that's why I was so thrilled to have you, to read your books, to have you as our guest here, because you give other people hope, because you will not be quiet. You continue to speak, and listen, as bad as Colombia is, as bad as downtown Chicago is, most of America is not that crazy. And there are many, many people around the world and certainly around this country that are grateful for voices that are speaking the truth. But
Yeah, I second that. I think a lot of us believe these things, but a lot of us are just not the type to like speak out normally, or I don't know. I think it's just so like rational that most people who don't speak out just look at all this and they just go, well, obviously crazy people are just being crazy online. But it's still important for us to like speak up and be like, no, this is not okay, and we're done with this. Like, you can have your safe spaces still, you can still be whatever the fuck you want, but stop being delusional. Like, we draw the point at delusion.
because they understand that a man can't become a woman and men cannot give birth.
Right.
And they understand these things. And we're living in a time when simply declaring them is suddenly considered a brave act, which of course is ridiculous. But you do seem still to have hope, otherwise you wouldn't be talking about these things. Why do you have hope? Why do you talk about these things?
So, when I was escaping from North Korea, at least it was, I had a place to escape to, America, right? I think it's harder for Americans to imagine this. Just imagine the world without America. It's a dark place. This country is a hope for humanity. It's not because I'm American saying this, as an outsider coming from that country, those countries. The world will look up to America, not because this country is just wealthy and like that. The value this country stands for, this dedication to protect individual dignity and freedom. That's very rare, because we're the smallest minority that is individual. And there are so many countries dedicated to protect just the collective, and you don't matter if you're an individual. When North Korea came out, attacked me, they said she was individualistic when she was a kid. For North Korea, that is the worst criticism you can give to somebody. That's how being individualistic is the worst thing.
Yeah. Honestly, that's beautiful to hear her say that about America. Even despite all of our problems and every bad thing going on, it's encouraging that we are still like a melting pot of acceptance. And that's another reason I want people to stop screaming about oppression, stop screaming about how you're threatened and oppressed and not safe. You are safe here. I hate this. Like, even back in 2016, when Trump was first elected, all of a sudden people acted like it was okay for like gays and everything else to get like slaughtered in the streets. And it's not. It's never been okay. It's still not okay. It's still illegal. I don't know why people are acting this way. Again, I think we're just a bunch of thumb sucking like babies over here, and they don't know how dark the world really is, like what she's talking about. Like, we are so lucky to be here, and yet all we can do is fight each other. It's getting us nowhere, and it's getting people in power away with what they're doing still, because everyone's so busy fighting each other instead of our real enemy. Y'all have been fooled. Y'all have been hoodwinked to just be rage baited against another group of people who are actually on your side. And I'm not saying like we should just allow like true racists and true homophobes to just like do whatever they want. Obviously, they need to be whatever, I don't know, canceled, or I don't know, right? Like, but whatever it is, they don't need to be listened to. There will always be assholes in every tier of person, every tier of community, society, every branch, even in like trans people. Like, they're everywhere. You can't focus on it. You can't get rage baited. You gotta like remember, it's like I said this on my Facebook. I was like, this is immature. Why are we fighting over something that is elementary? You're making fun of how someone looks, how someone, is different from you. That's elementary shit. I thought we were over this. Yet y'all want to keep screaming about it constantly. That makes progress go down. We can't progress.
And this country, the constitution out of that to protect individual liberty. So, I mean, like, if we lose America, where do we go? Are we going to escape to North Korea? Are we escaping to the moon? I mean, that's the kind of the only option right now. So I think that's why we have to protect this country. I have no option other than fighting for it. And I'm not going to run this time. Like when I was reading Animal Farm, Until that point, I hated the dictator. I was thinking how horrible these evil guys are enslaving people, doing this to these people. But then when you read the book, it's a process. Like when I was born in North Korea, I did not even know that I was oppressed. Like, how do you fight to be free if you don't know you're a slave? And North Korea came that to a point, so when it came to me, I could not even fight because I did not even know that was an option. My grandmother knew though. They knew the time before Kim Il-sung. They knew the time before Communist Revolution. Because they were scared, they didn't speak out. We came that far. So while we know this is wrong, I think this is a time to push back.
Yeah.
That was an amazing interview.
If you think these conversations are valuable, would you do us a favor and please like this video and subscribe to this channel? When you do that, you help
here's
us
the video.
get these conversations
Amazing.
out to a wider audience by telling YouTube.
If you guys want me to watch the full interview, it's an hour and 22 minutes. I will do that because I probably will watch it at some point anyway. Like I said,
Thank you.
very fascinated by North Korean stuff. And I mean, if you want to take the last thing she said, how we need to fight back, what do you think is the right way to fight back? Because I thought someone like Charlie Kirk was doing a good job of that, you know, by just opening communication to people, being open to being wrong. He was gracious in like allowing people to change his mind. And I don't know. I honestly don't know how else we can fight back if we can't even communicate. So let me know your thoughts on this video, this topic and everything. Thanks for hanging with me and have a great rest of your day. Bye.